Hello one, hello all. Welcome to this edition of Who Would Like That? I am CP. You are not. Today's film is Caligula. I've lit myself accordingly to be erotic. Shall we get to the reading? Caligula is a 1979 erotic historical drama. Wait, you just can't add erotic to history. Does that mean they can make like an erotic version of Mein Kampf? Like what? Erotic historical drama? What the fuck? Anyway, I digest. Focusing on the rise and fall of Roman Emperor Caligula. It stars Malcolm McDowell in the title role alongside Teresa Ann Savoy, Helen Mirren, Peter O'Toole, and John Steiner. This is the only feature film produced by Penthouse Productions. Penthouse, more likely to produce straight-to-video material like Kiss Her Where It Smells. Their intention was to produce a pornographic film with feature film narratives and high production value. Many of the non-speaking roles in this film are Penthouse pets. There are a bunch of other videos on YouTube that discuss the long and sordid story about the production of Caligula. A lot of people disown this movie. A lot of people don't want to be associated with it. A lot of cooks in the kitchen and nobody really wanted to eat, it seems. This was Suicide Squad before Suicide Squad was. Yeah, we're going to discuss the film itself. Without further ado, I'll open this with a quote from the great late Roger Ebert. It's sickening, utterly worthless, shameful trash. In 2 hours of this film that I saw, there were no scenes of joy, natural pleasure, or good sensual cheer. There was, instead, a nauseating excursion into base and sad fantasies. I dispute that, Mr. Ebert. At least one scene we saw the physical embodiment of joy. And then a woman swallowed it. So if you're new to my channel, if you're new to this series, what we do with the Who Would Like That series is cover controversial films and discuss their artistic merit and whether or not they have artistic merit. Caligula, as I sit here, not unlike Salo, if you want to watch me stammer for 20 minutes, watch me try to describe Salo. Salo, as far as storytelling, oh man, as far as storytelling is concerned, Salo compared to Caligula is The Empire Strikes Back. Caligula is sloppy. Like I said, it is Suicide Squad before Suicide Squad. You can tell there's a lot of different hands. Technically speaking, no. This is the inverse to Salo. Salo, the cinematography is really quite good. Caligula, no, less so. But Caligula over the course of time has grown to gain cult status, as appears to be the theme with movies covered in this series. I'm talking about them decades after their release for some reason. They have some sort of infamy. Caligula, it's certainly not for its praise amongst critics. Helen Mirren, you know, Dame Helen Mirren, she's described the film as an irresistible mix of art and genitals.
Ass, titties, ass and titties, ass, titties, titties, ass and titties.
There's a lot of genitals, I'll give it that. This is where I'll give Salo credit. Oh, never in my life did I think I'd be saying words like this. But Salo, for some moments of sex, they'll, instead of showing you Broadway, they'll show a reaction shot of somebody experiencing the bliss that is sex. Not Penthouse, excuse me, Caligula. I forgot the name of the movie. Caligula wastes all of their close-ups on yawning, gaping vaginas and assholes. I can't tell you how many scenes in this movie where there's just dialogue. We open up from about 50 feet back and have to zoom into the action. But if some guy's getting his knob slurped, we're 3 inches away from that. Cinema. So the story is sloppily done, a story about Caligula, heir to the throne of Rome. I realize that this is going to really come out of left field for some of you, but the Star Wars prequels, there's a lot of references to ancient Rome, and I know I'm thinking of things backwards, but every time there was a line of
I am the Senate.
there were like buzzwords in this movie that I couldn't help but think of the Star Wars prequels, and I think it was tied to Mr. O'Toole's acting at first.
You do now. Now.
Then it was just words that I associate with Star Wars memes.
It's treason, then.
I somehow squoze Star Wars references into Caligula. I've done it. If this were a regular film, we would see some sort of conflict and struggle within our character. And for a split second, I thought maybe we were going to have some suggestions, some subtext, some themes. But no. There's a shot of a blackbird that flies into Caligula's room, and he's frightened and sees it as a bad omen. And they really could have played with stuff like that and really abandon it for some straightforward filmmaking. I'll give Caligula one thing: it starts lower than Salo does. In Salo, the libertines are in power the whole time, and then shit just pops off. Caligula, at least he's not the emperor for a little bit. He's just fucking his sister to open the movie, like you do, and then he becomes emperor and then rules absolutely and has sex absolutely often, and then he gets killed because he's a little too far out there. If this were a real movie with some artistic merit and had something to say, I don't know, some of the people that were having sex and being tortured by this tyrant, this maniac emperor, wouldn't look like they enjoy it so much. Granted, there are scenes where I know I was uncomfortable watching them. Perhaps the characters were meant to portray discomfort as well. There's a wedding scene where Caligula has his way with the newlyweds and decides to wear the most unfriendly ring for fisting I've ever seen. The joke is made about them being virgins, but he's got to be a ring virgin because you don't wear those rings when you're fisting somebody. I've heard. There are just moments of this film that don't make sense. Just forgetting sex and everything else that's in this film. Like, how do you strangle somebody with mesh? If I can see his mouth, he can breathe. Technical aspects of this film are... they leave things to be desired. Perhaps this is my film school education coming in, but I was always taught that zooming with a camera should be done for a specific reason, because it's an unnatural movement for the camera. Caligula is just... Zoom, zoom, zoom. Why not move the camera 40 feet closer and get 2 separate shots? And it'll look a bit cleaner. The picture quality degrades as you're fucking 90 feet back and zooming in. See, cinematography normally, for dramatic things that happen in movies, you get real close to the subject. And, you know, action stuff, you want a wider look at that. This movie really does the opposite. I mean, unless, of course, you think sucking a guy off to climax is dramatic, then sure, get 6 inches away from the subject. But when there's dialogue and drama happening, we're up in the cheap seats. Yeah, zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, zoom, zoom, zoom. There's just too much to ask about this movie that doesn't make sense. Like, was there basketball back then? Volleyball? Why does he have a ball? What is that used for? Unless that's a giant anal bead. That would make more sense. And this rolling wall that just chops people's heads up. What is that? I don't. Is that to excess? What?
What does it do? It does death. It does death, buddy. Get out of my way.
That no doubt inspired Austin Powers.
Watch out!
So to the long and short of it, what is this movie? If you want to watch a lot of fucking, I mean, a lot of fucking and all types of fucking, that's what Caligula is. All types of fucking.
Eating.
You'll
drinking,
be sick of the human
fucking,
form about halfway
sucking.
through this thing. But as far as storytelling, as far as filmmaking is concerned, yeah, Malcolm McDowell, he comes to power. Ha ha! Freudian slip, and has his way with everything. Other than that, this movie is a porno. This is a porno. As much as they want to shift little bits of story into it, there's far better versions of us. There are far, hell, Citizen Kane. I'm mentioning Citizen Kane in a video where I'm talking about Caligula. Citizen Kane is a better version of what they're trying to say in Caligula, without all the fucking. Although we don't know what happened with Rosebud. And that is the point. You should leave some things to our imagination. Hell, Salo left some things unshown. Salo, for fuck's sake. Does this film have artistic merit? If we're going by the definition of porno, that porn has no artistic merit, then I would say no. Caligula does not have any artistic merit. Caligula is porno with ambitious something to it. There are real actors in this film that went on to continue to be real actors. Again, Dame Helen Mirren is in this movie. Malcolm McDowell, who went on. Peter O'Toole. Like, there are genuine actors at some point in pre-production or production. They were trying to make a film. But Penthouse, or they're not known for their stories, so that was doomed. What I will say about this movie, and again, keep in mind, this is the edit that I have, the British Arrow release, which is 152 minutes. There are multiple cuts, multiple versions of this movie that are out there. Apparently there's a 103-minute PG cut, so fucking, I did not see that. Best of luck to anybody who wants to watch a porno without the porn. This is porn. That's the best way to put it. Porn that's ambitious. Porn nowadays, they'll make, Batman fucking Robin and, I don't know, Walking Dead. There's porn for that. If you go into this film with the mindset of, oh, you know what, I'd love to see ancient Rome with a backdrop for porn, I give you Caligula. No, this movie doesn't have artistic merit. Who would like it? Somebody who's detaching themselves from all things within this movie. But the problem with this movie is it's so hard to detach yourself from the production because you're looking at Helen Mirren, who fucking, by the way, still looks fantastic. You mentally prepare yourself for a porno, but then people like Malcolm McDowell show up and you're like, wait, this isn't the part of my experience that I'm used to. Then Helen Mirren shows up and oh. I'll reserve my opinion on that for another day. She is not ugly. Perhaps you can get through this, but then you find out the characters are related. They're implying that there's some horse sex. There's a moment in the beginning where there's freaks, people who have weird things going on with their body. I don't know what that was supposed to be. This movie feels like a fever dream. If I somehow fell asleep with a porn channel on. It's not that good. There's better porno. There's better films that feature these actors. I don't know how else to put this. This is an absolute train wreck. Who would like that? people who are looking to jerk off, and usually, I don't know about you guys, but if I'm looking to jerk off to a film, I'm not doing 152 minutes worth of it. It's like 300 times for me. It's easier to take than Solo. Again, at least in Caligula, a lot of people seem like they're having a good time. Some people don't, but a lot do, much unlike Solo, where it's 4 dudes who are having a good time and a lot of people that aren't. Caligula is I would put it in the same bucket as Solo. I'd put it in the same series as Solo. I don't know how to end this. What say you? Have you seen Caligula? Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Have you seen the PG version? That's a better question. I'm curious to know if anybody's seen this 103-minute PG cut, and what kind of story does that tell? Because that intrigues me. Because this movie, not my favorite, and if you take out the fun parts, I don't know what's left of it. If you enjoyed the video, doing me a favor and clicking that thumb helps me out a lot. It lets me know to keep watching these terrible, terrible movies. And if you're intrigued as to the other stuff I've covered and want to know stuff that I'll be covering in the future, by all means, click that subscribe button. You might want to click the bell too, because I don't know, it's a 2-step process now with YouTube, and even that doesn't work. Thank you to my patrons who have actually made this one happen, thanks to Glenn Parson, who suggested and provided content for this. Other than that, I have been CP. I'm gonna go bathe now. Maybe this is why Jason Blum won't let me into his movies, because I'm covering shit like this.